Hi everyone, welcome back to the workshop, and today I've got a little side video that I'd like to take care of. I do actually have the Meritronic multimeter over here, still working on it. I've been busy lately out in the back garden. I think I did a YouTube short on that, doing some work around the house and all the rest of it, but I'm just starting to get back to the workshop now. And today I want to work on my Kikusui, I think you pronounce that, PCR500M AC power supply. Now I bought this off of eBay and it was in quite a bad state, and this is after I've cleaned it up and it's still not perfect. And what I'm using this unit for, it's an adjustable power supply, 0 all the way up to 270 volts, 5 amps, 500 VA. But the good thing about this thing is what I want to make use of it for is the current limit that you can set for this unit. So it's really good when I'm doing electronic repairs on AC powered equipment, instead of the old light bulb trick that I have been using in the past, a light bulb in series with the mains AC to limit the current there. I've got this adjustable power supply here. However, as you've seen on a lot of my other test equipment in the workshop, I do actually like to get them as pristine condition as possible. It's not all about the functionality. I like to work on nice, almost new looking gear. Thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Their fast, reliable and high quality PCB fabrication and prototyping is essential for anyone in electronics. Add to that CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication and injection moulding, PCBWay can help you cover all aspects of your projects. Check out the link below to their website and all they can offer, including their online community for sharing designs. Now this unit here, the screen here is completely scratched, and if I power the unit on, it kind of inhibits the view of the LED display there, and I just don't like that. In addition, the buttons here, the text below them and then around them, it's pretty much scratched off in places. And where the fingernails have been hitting the panel there, it's kind of scratched that as well, and I just don't like it. The output button there, on off button there, it's not great either. So I want to clean this unit up, and really it needs a new screen here. Now I did go ahead and contact Kikusui over in Japan, not thinking I'd get a reply because it was a Japanese website, but in actual fact they responded pretty quick and they referred me to a UK importer of this brand of power supply, and I was able to get a parts list and I was given some prices and they were really cheap. So I've gone ahead and bought some replacement parts for the power supply. And look what I was able to get. A front panel containing not only the plastic panel itself, but it's actually got the entire display board. And also 2 filters, the label for the front of the unit there, and the 2 louvers for the front of the unit. Wow, this thing's going to look brand new when I'm finished with it. So let's take the unit apart and let's fit the new parts. Before I take it apart, looking around the back of the unit, you got the AC input there, and we've got an RS232 and an auxiliary I/O connections there. I'm presuming there for some sort of control. Not sure what the auxiliary is for, but we'll take a look at that once I get the unit up and running again. And we do actually have some output terminals over here, which mimic the output terminals on the front. Now there should be a cover across the back here. I should have maybe inquired about that, but I can make up a little bit of perspex or something and utilising those screw holes there just to keep it a little bit safe, because I won't actually be using the rear of the unit there. And before I take the cover off the power supply, I'm actually going to remove the front louver here, and there is actually a trick for doing that. You pull out at the bottom and push down on the top at the same time. That's it. And that there, and there we go. That's the old louver, and there's the first of those filters there. And wow, yes, don't know if you can see that, but it does look pretty dirty inside there. Next thing, I'll take off the cover before I remove this front panel here. Now, I have been looking for some time, years in fact, to try and get my hands on some sort of adjustable AC power supply that I can set a current limit on. And the ones I've been looking at in the past have been they're almost way into the thousands, and it's just not something I was prepared to pay. I was quite happy with a light bulb method up until now, until I came across this range of units, and actually just perfect for the application I need to put them under. But yet to be seen, but I have heard other people using them and they sing their praises. Right, I think that's the last screw. It should lift off and we'll get a first look inside. There we go. Wow! Just look at the PCBs. Looks like we've got a microprocessor card there and a display driver card here on the side. And looks like we've got the AC main board there. Oh, we've got another PCB round here as well. A plug-in card on the base of the unit there. So yeah, there's PCBs everywhere inside this unit. Now, I haven't checked to see if the capacitors and all that are discharged, so I will go ahead and do that before I go any further. Well, unfortunately, I can't get to the capacitors to discharge them. There is a bridge rectifier here, and I've checked the DC terminals on it, and there's nothing on it. So that capacitor there is already discharged. There's probably some bleed resistors across those capacitors, and there's quite a number of large electrolytics in there. I can't get to them, not even with my fingers. The bottom of the unit there is covered, so I can't get to them. Now, we'll actually go ahead and get my air line and blow out this main board here on the bottom, and in the top there's quite a lot of dust. Not sure if you can see that on camera, but quite a lot down there, obviously where the airflow is coming in through those louvers there. So yeah, I will go ahead and get the air line and blow it all out. I can see some dust over the heat sinks and some of the capacitors and components, etc. And something I didn't notice on the back here was this panel here. It looks like you can plug in a card or some sort, because there is actually a little bay here and an edge connector on this sideboard here for plugging in a board of some kind. Maybe a GPIB, something like that, not too sure. Next thing is I want to clean up this fan, so let's take off this guard here. Wow, that screws are pretty long. Must be a 25mm fan, I suspect. With a bit of luck, the fan will actually come out as well, so that I can give it a good clean, because it's absolutely caked in muck. And polystyrene beads from the packing that it came in. Yes, it does come out. And it's on a connector as well. Wow, love the design. So let's get the brush on this and give it a bit of a clean up. The fan is working and it seems quite free, so I don't think I need to take it apart to give it a grease or an oil up. I think it's okay. There we go. And whilst the fan's out, I can get to the PCB in here and give it a little bit of a clean as well with a brush. Because everything that was facing that fan, it's just got a light coat of dust on it. And I'll blow it out again with the air line now that I've loosened off all of the dirt and dust. And there we go, fan back in. Right, let's disassemble more of this front panel. So I think this louver comes off. Wow, that was easy. A single clip in the bottom there. And for the display panel, I think there's a screw in the side here. And then there's a single clip at the top left, and it should come out. Yep, there we go. And just a single ribbon cable onto the panel. So I can just pull up that there and pull out the ribbon. There we go. And now I've got some access as well, and I can clean up a bit more of that PCB in there as well. Now there is some residue in and around this power switch along the top here, so I think I'll get some IPA and see if I can wipe this down, give it a little bit of a clean up. So IPA in a cloth here. Yeah, that's coming up rather nicely. Well, on the power switch it almost looks like paint, so I'm just using a small screwdriver just to loosen it, which appears to be working. I don't want to put any acetone on it in case it melts the plastic. There we go. Now I think we're ready for reassembly. So let's bring in the new display. Flat flex looks in pretty good condition. And that's it. And offer it up into place. That's it. I'll put the screw in. Perfect. Right, I'll assemble up the louvers with the filters. They're cut to size. Perfect. Right, the small one in place first. That's it. Perfect. And the main one. That's it. Perfect. The next thing I want to do is clean up this top cover. I'll do that off camera. Need to get the label remover on here, get rid of some of this sticky residue from the labels that look to have been on here in the past, and in and around the actual handle itself. So I'll come back once I've got it cleaned up. There we go, top handle reassembled, and it's looking pretty good. Let's put the cover back on the unit. The last thing to do in the front anyway is fit this new label here, which goes up on here. I'm presuming it's self-adhesive. Yep. Let's get that in place. Perfect. Yes! Looking good. Right, let's give it a little power up. Make sure the front panel's okay. We've got power. 1.23. I wonder if that's a firmware version or something like that. All 8s. And yes! And yep, 230 volts. So we've got 275 all the way down to 0 basically. Of course you can set the frequency as well. I think I've got it set for 50 Hertz here in the UK, and the current limit is set for 0.3 of an amp, so it remembers the settings when you switch it off and on again. And of course this is the output on button there, got a little LED telling me I've got power out there. Perfect. Now of course this is a US style plug in the front of the unit there. There's not actually enough room to put a UK style socket on the front there because it's quite a bit wider. So I managed to get one of these US to UK adapter, and importantly it's got the earth connection, because there's loads of them for sale on Amazon and eBay that just have the 2 pins. There is no earth connection, so shop around and you will actually find one, and that just goes in there perfectly the right way up for the UK plug. Now just as a quick test on this output to make sure everything's okay, I do actually have one of these UK socket testers. You plug them into the wall, your 240 volt outlet, and it'll just tell you if your neutral's open, your lie's open, but it also displays the voltage. So let's plug that in and turn the output on. I've got it set for 232, 237. Yep, I know this display here is not very accurate, so let's just wind it up. Yeah, and wind it down. 110 volts, 112. Yep, so the output is working. Okay, the next thing I want to do is test the actual current limiting capabilities of the unit. So let me just wind up the current limit to 2.8 amps, that'll do. And I'm set for, let's put it to 230 volts. And I've got this table lamp plugged in. It's a 60 watt bulb. So let's just put on the output, and yep, the light comes on. Let me just turn it away so it doesn't blow out the camera. And we've got 0.25 of an amp. So let me just go into the current limit again, start winding that down past 0.25 and observe what happens. Yep, and the bulb's actually dimming. Perfect. All the way down. Well, I'm at 0.11 of an amp, and I don't know if you can see that, but I can just see the filament glowing inside the lamp. Perfect. This is going to be great for testing AC powered devices on the workbench. And this is the actual unit I'm retiring. This is what I used to use. The old trick of putting a bulb in series with the AC supply to your device under test. And I just had of course I went beyond what you normally do, and I've got a power on off switch here and a bypass switch which basically shorts out the lamp there, so I've got full power going to the socket when I want, and a couple of lamps there. So now I can retire this one. Next thing, I've 3D printed a small plain flat cover for these terminals in the back. A couple of M3 screws. And that'll just protect that AC terminals on the back. There we go. And whilst we're on the back, I did look up the manual. The RS232 port is for remote control of the device, and the auxiliary connector here is for functional expansion, whatever that means. Maybe you can daisy chain some of these units together. I don't really know. I haven't looked at it too closely. And this slot here that we saw is for an option board, and from what I can see in the manual, there's an analog option board which you can plug in there, which outputs analog signals, and it mentions sine waves and that sort of thing. So I guess that'll be in tandem with the actual AC output, etc. Well, that's all up and running now, and one thing I didn't mention earlier is you can actually configure the output to DC as well as AC, and of course for the most part I'll be using it in its AC mode. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, it was just a quick video on getting this panel refurbished and getting the unit fit for purpose on the workbench. Still got to find a place to put it because I do want to have it pretty close by so that I've got good access to the adjustment knob here, and of course the on-off control there as well. So thanks for watching, and remember you can always comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. There's plenty more repair videos on my channel, from the simple to the complex. Check them out, and thanks for watching.